Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook, got Justin Wells. Coach Williams is out this week, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop talking about recruiting. Recruiting always continues here on Inside Texas on the Inside.
Always.
I know, on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Heck, it's pretty funny. Me and Eric recorded that Emmett Mosley video, and about 15 minutes later, boom. So just lets you know all the different recruiting intel happens in a flash. Speaking of, if you don't want to miss a single thing, we got you covered on the channel, but also make sure that you head to InsideTexas.com. You can get 4 months for just $1. That gets you through about August 15th. And you get everything. You're going to get some basketball insight as Sean Miller builds his roster. Baseball coverage, recruiting insight, which we're bringing today, more detailed stuff. We've got a visitors list that we just posted, a master visitors list over on Inside Texas, team info in the lead up to the spring fan day, everything Longhorns. Come sign up, $1 for just 4 months. And then, even though the Longhorns are not having a spring fan or spring game, there is a fan day. Inside Texas is going to be a part of it that weekend on April 25th. We will be hosting a tailgate event. We've got details forthcoming, but it is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And, oh, man, I need to make sure somehow I'm able to get involved in this one. The Blackstone Griddle, a 32 hard cooler from Yeti, a 10x10 canopy, 2 UT folding chairs, and a couple of Yeti Ramblers. So make sure April 25th, you head to Austin. We're putting details, location together, but we will let you know where to go to enter to win all this. Brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's been great for our channel. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 per person. You can see the legalese, but most importantly, you got to be present to win for this one. So,
two things. Am I eligible to win that?
Justin Wales is, if he's watching.
Okay.
I don't know if Justin Wells is.
So my alias can. 2, is that for the A&M weekend?
Yes. So that weekend.
Okay.
That weekend is the A&M baseball series. Okay. Longhorns #1 with former A&M coach Jim Schlossnagle. A&M found a little bit of offensive form, so it should be a really, really fun series.
That's going to be a party.
We will have an event, details forthcoming on that Friday, April 25th, 10 days from now. But thank you to Academy for putting that together. Justin, it was a big weekend over on the 40 acres. We had the scrimmage where we heard some good things. Coaches clinic was going on, but there were about 25, maybe even 30 prospects that were on the 40 acres. And we have had content forthcoming from those visits, talking to those guys, getting intel and things like that. But we've all gathered enough intel, you, me, Charlie, Eric, Naleen, to put in some on-3 recruiting machine predictions. And most of them at this point are on the defensive side of the ball. We have some over on Inside Texas for some offensive positions from some previous weeks or the past few months. But just this past weekend, we put in a few for some Longhorn defensive recruiting targets. And one that Eric Naleen put in, another guy who was there this past weekend, was 2026 linebacker Kosi Okpala. Seems to be a little bit of an in-state battle, but Texas did a really good job this past weekend in putting their best foot forward with the Made Creek Star.
Yeah, these spring recruiting weekends have become very telling, at least in the last couple of years. Since Sark has really made these things a staple, you start getting kind of a sense where kids could be ending up. They set official visits. They haven't been set. They come to watch practice in the scrimmage because kids enjoy watching a college scrimmage more than an official visit and a game combined. There's something about that, them envisioning themselves out there. And so Texas has been doing this pretty big. Just like last year, we left the April kind of getting an idea of who we thought could be in this class. You can kind of start to get a sense. Kosi Okpala was one of the first guys we spoke about Saturday night because that's a guy that it looks like it's trending Texas. And I don't even know, I don't know how much A&M is in this one. I know they're trying to push, but I almost feel like it's a Texas Penn State battle. because he talked up out-of-state Penn State quite a bit. And that was the school. Most of the things he talked about was Texas, but Penn State's got his ear. And I think they're selling Abdul Carter, Micah Parson, kind of in that realm of pass rusher and things of that sort. So I don't think Texas is going to let this guy get out of state. They let linebackers in this state right now. Him and Calvin Thomas out of Cy Ranch. They want both of them. I think they're going to get Kosi. I think Eric was smart with an RPM here. It's just trending Texas. And look, Kosi doesn't say a lot. He really doesn't. He doesn't interview very much. He's kind of a quiet guy. But him and Johnny Nansen have been getting closer. They talk on a regular basis now. I think Kosi watched the linebacker play, talked about Colin Simmons and Ty Anthony Smith. When he mentioned Ty Anthony Smith, I knew that somebody he was envisioning himself as getting on the field and playing soon. And so Texas, it's not done by any stretch. But that guy, like Kosi, could be an edge. Coach Top is right. Kosi could very much – he has edge tendencies. He can get to the pass rusher. He can get to the quarterback. He can also play, I think, inside as well. I think he's versatile enough to be able to do both of those things. And that's why I like Texas right now. But watch – I know A&M is still making a push. I know some other schools, maybe Baylor, SMU. Watch Penn State. I feel like the Nittany Lions are probably the Horns' top competition.
It's kind of funny. We talk about who is position U. Everybody tries to claim quarterback U and DBU and stuff like that. But like Penn State's got a pretty good grasp on linebacker U. I'm going to go ahead and give that title to them. So it makes sense for him to be interested, especially with Carter and with
Micah Parsons. Don't show him any LeVar Arrington tape, because then he's going to Happy Valley.
Yeah. That's when you get the standard definition TV out to show some highlights, that's when they've got a history there. I'm a big fan of his film. You see him do just a lot of versatile things. Plays off ball really well. Plays on the outside and can rush the passer. Katy Maid Creek in a good Katy district, playing some good teams. So he's doing it against good competition. And, with a lot of these linebackers, they're so used to going forward. Nothing wrong with that. They have the athleticism to make up for, hey, this guy got past me. Well, I'm not facing a great quarterback, and I'm the best athlete on the field. Can make up for it some in some pass situations. That may be like the remaining question I have in his game. But, hey, that can be taught. You can learn how to drop and take and get into coverage. You can learn how to do those things. But if you can show some of those physical skills at the point of attack, that makes you really valuable. And another difference is, we've seen Texas kind of go after different molds at linebacker. Ty Anthony Smith probably arrived at Texas probably around like 205, 210, something like that.
Barely 205, and he was 215 maybe 2 weeks later.
Right. And so Kosi Okpala on 3 lists him at 6'1.5", 215. That means he's already got a good base to start with. And that's someone that you can see maybe getting up to.
He's already he's a little thicker than Ty Anthony was.
Right. And that's someone you can see maybe getting up to 230 in the right amount of time. But it won't take long for him to be someone that you're pretty confident that he can, manage not just in the trenches and in the run game, but also can quickly drop back and maybe get into some pass drops as needed. What's the rest of the linebacker picture look like? I know you mentioned the Cy Ranch prospect, but what else does Texas have?
That one's an interesting position this year, because there were a couple guys that we thought that they would be pushing for in state. DeQuivis Beck at Carthage, who I think is going to wind up being an A&M, SMU, OU kind of battle. Tank King out of Port Arthur Memorial. I think that guy's trending A&M right now, and I believe he just left Michigan off a trip. So those were two that we were kind of penciling in. But it looks like Johnny Nansen, they're looking at a couple more in the Southeast region, and then there's a pair of guys they like out in California. And we knew it was a matter of time before Johnny Nansen would grab a West Coast linebacker. Now, granted, he grabbed him in the class of 2027, Taven Epps. But they're still looking at some guys over there. I think they get Thomas and Kosi, and then they cherry pick. They figure out one guy they like. Listen, they love those Georgia linebackers in Anthony Jones and Tyler Atkinson. If they could get one of those guys back on campus, that would be huge. It's going to be a long shot. Both those guys are trending other ways, but you know what? It's April, so don't tell Sark, it's a long shot because he doesn't really turn on the recruiting machine until December 1st.
One other thing, speaking of Georgia linebackers, there was another visitor committed to USC who made his way, and it didn't seem like when Texas was pursuing this guy that was going to really progress a whole lot further, correct?
Xavier Griffin, the number 2 linebacker in the country in the On3 industry rankings out of Gainesville, Georgia. Man, they are growing them differently in the Peach State, brother. I am not even playing. And this dude, now he's listed at linebacker, but he is not playing linebacker in college, my man. He is 6'4", 205. He has size 14 shoes. He's still 16 years old. This is an edge. We've seen them all. This kid is going to be an edge. Either way, he's going to be a dude. And so Texas is getting visitors now from guys that you maybe not would get in the past. And I think it's the momentum of back-to-back playoffs, signing the number 1 class. Texas has become kind of one of the it schools again. And so now you're going to get guys that come on campus that you may not think you can grab. Texas doesn't think that way. Justice Terry wasn't even in the conversation until last October. And so you got to let things kind of play out a little bit.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, and that is Roback. There's only one way to describe Roback: best fit, best feel. For those who aren't familiar with Roback, they are completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Roback has released so many items within their new licensed game day collection, and it's our favorite. With novel polo designs and clean hoodie and Q-zip designs from some of your favorite schools like Texas, it's definitely worth checking out. Nobody else on the market is pairing these level of custom designs with this quality of activewear. Roback's everyday shorts or their Delta Performance pants are the perfect pairing as well. Both are super comfortable, have an elastic waistband, and great fabric that's made to have the appearance of a nice short look, but the comfort for a day on the move. Roback has also been proudly leading the NIL charge, having signed partnerships with multiple college football stars like Quinn Ewers. They are becoming the go-to brand for college athletes across the country. Use the code TEXAS20 on roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. That's RHOBACK.com and 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with Texas20. That is a good one. Got a good question before we keep going through some of the other stuff. Victor Santiago, and I saw Roger G asked something similar. Xavier Crowell from Jackson, Alabama, got predicted to go to Alabama. Obviously, a long ways to National Signing Day. That was always going to be a tough one. But, Justin, what other options at running back are there besides KJ Edwards, a Carthage kid? No, they want to take 2. You just posted something about this the other day and are working something up on this right now, correct?
Actually, I posted this earlier today. I put up a new master visitor list. Just basically, we had some new OV sets, some new stuff, some new guys coming in April, and there was some intel there on Amari Latimer. So if you haven't been able to read it, please check that out at InsideTexas.com. But I think Latimer is going to be the thunder in the lightning of KJ Edwards. Look, they want 2 running backs. Roger G, they're going to take 2 in this cycle. KJ Edwards is number 1. He's number 1 on the board nationally. They've made him such a priority. Who else is fighting for that guy? Has a ton to catch up to. SMU, Texas A&M. Edwards is most likely going to Texas at this point. Crowell, they're not going to stop recruiting Crowell. They love Crowell. You should. He's probably the best running back in the country, pound for pound. And so that's a guy that, and we've tried to, he's gotten closer to Coach Scott. He loved Choice. But once he left, Chad Scott had to come in and make up a lot of room with these guys. He did that with Crowell, resetting an OV, resetting his unofficial. He was on campus a couple weekends ago for like 2 or 3 days. But we kept telling you that one's going to be tough to pull out of Alabama. The Jackson native is a big Alabama and Auburn guy. It's going to be one of those 2 schools. Wouldn't be shocked if it's Alabama. And our man Wilt Fong at On3 putting in the RPM that's a pretty good guess. He wants to keep his decision late too. Texas is going to continue to recruit that kid, but they're going to try to push for Amari Latimer. He is set to take an official visit on June 13th to the 15th now. And those are the 2 main running backs in 2026. There are going to be a couple others that could pop up. I could even see a couple others maybe taking visits. But Texas really likes Edwards as the speed guy, and they really love Latimer as the big back. He's about 200, 205, really thick, kind of got a more athletic Craig Hayward type style to him. Just a big bruiser that you want on the inside, where you've got the speedster KJ or Clifton Jr. on the outside. It's going to be 2. And I think KJ and Latimer are the ones that are kind of looking pretty good right now. They've got some work to catch up on with Amari. Tennessee is looking great. Miami is looking great. But they've got a little bit to catch up on there. Oh, man. I'm
looking up who it is right now. The question, Davian Gross.
Gross, right. Okay. The thing about Gross is he's not really a running back per se. There are some schools that see him as a running back. There are some that see him as a receiver. The thing that he can do is go. Davian Gross can run. Like, that kid can get it. But Texas is not recruiting him. They're not recruiting Jonathan Hatton, the San Antonio kid that just committed to Texas A&M. There's a handful of other ones. They love Javian Osborne, but it wasn't enough to get that relationship back together, so they're no longer recruiting him. Davian Gross, that's a guy that we've had, Tashard Choice looked at him, kind of made a pass. I think Coach Scott's been the same way, looked at him, kind of took a pass. That kid's going to be good somewhere. He's going to be – I don't know if he'll be an Ashton Jenney type, but from a Frisco native, but he's going to be good somewhere. We just don't know what position he's going to play, if it's running back or receiver. It won't be at Texas.
I'm looking real quick. On 3 ranks Gross as a wide receiver, and it looks like a couple other – there's some difference of opinion. One network calls him an athlete. Another network does call him a running back.
Athlete is the right category, in my opinion, because I think he can do both, Joe. I think he can do running back and receiver in the right offense.
Yeah, he's got a unique skill set.
He's hell with the ball, man.
Exactly. We'll keep going, though. Get your questions in. We got some time to hit a few of them, but we got some more predictions to talk about. And one of them is, I put it in for a guy who now goes to the school right down the street from me. That is Yaheem Riley, 2026 defensive back at Austin Anderson. Paul Wadlington is no longer the best athlete in Austin Anderson history. Miami, that's his nickname. And man, he was a Houston committed to the Cougars and Willie Fritz on right around Christmas, I think. He had camped at Texas, I think last June. Received an offer from Kanoto Hudson, which I think is worth noting in this one, and also then comes to Texas and decommits in short order. He said he's going to take his official visits, including one to Houston as well. But Justin, you and I saw how Yaheem Riley left the facility, and it was arm in arm with someone who's done a lot of great development of defensive backs during his time.
Let me tell you something. Every time we watch Dwayne Akina, we pick up something new, something small that makes him as great as he is. Coaches walk kids out of the facility every day when they come in for visits. That's a common thing. You walk mom and dad to the door. You walk them out a little bit, talking to them. Dwayne Akina put Riley in the car. If he was a child, he would have put him in a car seat and buckled him. Like, if he was a child, I'm saying, like that, Dwayne Akina didn't walk him out. Dwayne Akina made sure he got in the car, got his seatbelt fastened, and let him know he has a place in Austin on the 40 acres. That's Dwayne Akina. That's the effect that kind of guy has. And, look, Riley's tape is great. This kid is fantastic. I think he's just a really good athlete that could play at a number of spots. But that once we saw that, and listen, that Houston commitment probably wasn't going to last a whole lot much longer anyway, because Texas is kind of the school he's always grown up like, and that was the school he wanted. This last visit wanted to assure him he was a take. And I think that's what he was. I think that's the box that was checked in his mind. I don't think he's taking the official visits. I think it's going to be Texas. And I don't know how much longer this thing's going to take. Decommitting from Houston, getting it over with. If I'm Riley, I'm getting my spot because they've got other safeties on the big board. Chase Calicut out of North Shore is a guy that's chomping to get in this class. They've got a pair of Florida safeties that they've offered, and another one from Georgia that they're trying to get on campus that they really like. And so if I'm that guy, I'm not messing around too much longer. I probably jump in. But yeah, Miami, Yaheem Riley, he does a little bit of everything. And I think Texas is the spot right now.
was at Austin LBJ. So there's the Makuba connection there, the 512 connection, obviously.
Jamal Finner connection.
And then, like I said, he was offered by Kenodo Hudson. That is the Nichols coach at Texas. There's still recruiting rules about who can go off campus and stuff like that, but you can have as many coaches as you want. He is responsible for that star position. And I found it curious that he would be the one to issue that offer. I think that kind of shows that they view him as a versatile piece. Wonder what type of I need to rewatch his tape.
Shows the staff also believes in Hudson's evaluations. I like that part of it.
Right. And that's someone who has Power 5, 10 main assistant coaching experience in the SEC. He's been a part of this program, helped a number of players have some great seasons at that position. So definitely one worth noting. Real quick, Victor
we got to get Victor a sub. If he doesn't have one already, everything he's asked we have covered in the last few days. So Victor, if you're not already with us, let us earn your business. It's $0.25 a month right now. But Victor, keep them coming, brother.
What is the latest on Hayward Howard? He was at Texas. I don't know if we got a chance to talk to him.
We did.
Okay. I did see that, what was it, on Saturday, even while Howard was visiting, our buddy Shea Dixon put in a prediction.
That was today.
Put in a prediction for the Louisiana native to end up at LSU, but he still made his way over to Austin. What did you pick up from a quick conversation with Hayward Howard?
Hayward is another one that is one of your highly rated, players that maybe wouldn't normally hit Texas or visit Texas, but he had a connection with Terry Joseph. Terry Joseph offered him last year. They were actually getting really close. He's got a connection to guys on the team. He loves the Louisiana flavor in Austin with Arch Manning and Derek Williams, and he actually knows and grew up around Wardell Mack, and they're close. And so, the funny thing about Hayward was, one, he was a joy to talk to. He has that deep South Louisiana accent. And if you've never worked in Southern Louisiana before, if you've ever been down in the oil field down in that area, there is a strong dialect similar to the twang in the East Texas voice you might hear from me from time to time, but it ain't near as cool. Like, he had that South Louisiana Lafayette type of twang, man. And let me tell you something. Those guys are scrappy. Those are ball players. He was adamant that LSU doesn't just get him. Like, it's going to take work. He said, look, I have no problem leaving the state. I have no problem looking around. He even said, they say everything is bigger in Texas. And he said, I looked around and it is bigger here. He's coming back for an official visit, June 13th to the 15th, or June 5th to the 7th, maybe. That's on the new master visitor list as well. Be sure and check that out. Texas has some fighting to do because they're having to catch up with Mark Orfe and Dwayne Aquina. Orfe did exactly what you needed. Joseph laid the foundation. Orfe brought him in, had his tape up, had everything he did well, had everything he didn't do well, and really caught his attention. I think this recruitment's going to continue to go. He wants to make a decision, I think, late July, early August. Don't doubt Shea whenever he puts an RPM for an in-state kid to LSU. But the Horns love him, and they're going to continue to recruit him.
Victor, what about that North Carolina quarterback? We are going to come through for you on this one. The last guy we plan to talk about, but if you got some questions, get him in the chat. He helped me out with this one when talking to Samari Matthews. It's from Huntersville, North Carolina. Goes to Huff High School. Cornerback, top 70, top 70 guy, top 100 for sure. Yeah. Both you and Charlie Williams put in predictions this morning or yesterday morning for Texas to end up grabbing Matthews. And it's very interesting. This is a kid who is from North Carolina, has been from Carolina his whole life. And he said he always, saw Texas from afar, especially these past couple of years when they're playing really good defenses in 2023 and 2024 on the way to the college football playoff. But the previous staff was focused on other guys. It just, that's a long way away. It's a different place compared to where Texas usually goes. Mark Orfe comes to Texas. He's got a relationship with Matthews from his time at Rutgers. Orfe offers Matthews, and about 10 minutes later, he drops a top school list that features Texas and starts setting up visits. And sounds like, Justin, everything that Matthews got from a 3-ish day visit was what he was looking for in seeing Texas for the first time.
I don't think the Horns moved the needle with anybody as much as they did with Samari Matthews. This guy said his official visit during the phone call to get his offer. Like, he was that eager. And what was funny is this is a kid that I'll tell you what, I got Jamie French vibes from him. And to give you a little quick reminder, last year Jamie French, when he got to Austin, it changed his recruitment completely. And when they tried to usher him off, he was insistent that he get to come talk to the media. He wanted to come answer our questions and talk to us so badly. And he came over with the biggest smile. Samari Matthews did the exact same thing. They tried to usher him away, and he said, no, I got some guys. I need to talk to these guys. He came out and talked to us for 10 or 15 minutes. When recruits do that, that is sometimes a data point that we like to consider, because that means they have really hit home on this trip. Like I said, he set the OV during the offer phone call. It was Texas and everyone else. And so he's got some other schools. Clemson is clawing away. South Carolina, he's got an official visit. Florida State, he's got an official visit. But this kid in Texas just makes way too much sense. He looks really good. I think the timing is perfect for this guy, considering Orfe just got the job and he had a previous relationship there. Samari was an absolute pleasure to talk to. I think this kid's going to Texas. Charlie and I both had the same feeling after, hearing the audio and getting catch up with the kid. And one more tidbit, he had a couple very interesting things to say about Bill Belichick, the new North Carolina coach. And he did want to comment that Mac Brown was wonderful. He had gotten to know Coach Brown and the staff. He loved Mac. He felt like he got the Mac that was at Texas when he would visit him at North Carolina. He's like, look at the stuff that Mac Brown built here. He was talking up Mac Brown. That guy hasn't coached on Texas sideline in 12 years. And so I thought that was significant. If you want to know what he said about Bill Belichick, come see us at InsideTexas.com.
I love how he's new North Carolina head coach Bill Belichick. That's how he's known. Where else did he coach?
It's Chapel Bill. That's all I will ever say, at least until he's there. He's Chapel Bill.
David Williams.
I need an eval from David Williams. Take him some Big Red. Check his warm-ups if he's stretching properly, if he's got his glutes ready. I need David Keith Williams. I need you to go check him out.
I think you're going to be impressed. He's on the field and off the field if you ever get to interact with him.
He's long too, man. That is a tall kid.
But what you'll see, Mr. Williams, is that there may be some burnt orange coming through. There may be some bright orange from Clemson coming through. Some garnet and gold from Florida State, orange and green from Miami, and then black and garnet and black from South Carolina. Those are the other teams right now that seem to be Texas competition for Samari Matthews. I think he's going to go see most, if not all, of those spots. North Carolina,
they all have official visits lined up.
North Carolina State.
UNC, not North Carolina, but the other.
No, ones. I was saying both don't appear to
be
be that involved with that recruitment, just because it doesn't have the vibe and the facility that he's looking for, or the ability to get him up to speed at a certain point. Justin, last question. I like this one. Do you think Texas pulled the trigger too soon on Mosley, so now they might be taking at least one more wide receiver? I think they were taking two regardless. I don't think Mosley means like, oh, no, we got to get somebody else. There is a need to create talent and elevate that position. Absolutely. That's what they try to do with Golden and Bond, and they got that with Golden for sure, and Bolden as well. I think they got great contributions there. But what Steve Sarkisian has said, and I think he likes saying this as a little bit of cover, and it's probably true to an extent, but it's not the primary motivator, is they do need more guys there. I think they only have like 9 right now. And even if you play 4, well, hey, Jonte Cook transferred out. And then Bond got dinged up last year. You need to be able to build that room and not just have to rely on a bunch of freshmen, talented though they be, to get you through. So Mosley, I think that you can see his stats and think of a certain thing. He only played in 9 games because he was a freshman and had to earn his way on the field. Once he did a great job, set a record or approached a record set by Richard Sherman, which is always funny to me.
It is.
And it's an up transfer in a sense, because the level of play from the SEC or the ACC is a little bit higher, I'd say. But also, like, this guy may be better than his stats indicate. Just because who's playing quarterback at Stanford right now? What's on that team around him right now? And what was the state of that program even before Troy Taylor got fired? What was going on there? So I think this is someone you can look at the 48 catches to 525 yards and think, that's whatever. That's okay. Well, outperformed Ryan Wingo, who had more opportunity to play. Granted, I know different competition. And it gives you someone who you still will be on your roster for another 2 years.
Right.
And he also has experience coming in. They definitely want one more. Hey, not everybody can be Jordan Addison. I'm trying to think of who's the other like big time wide receiver transfer Travis Hunter, I guess to say, but we all knew he was going to go to
Mario Williams,
maybe Mario Williams, but that didn't even work out. I mean, Isaiah Bond worked out for the games he was healthy, and then when he wasn't healthy, it didn't work out at all.
This guy's a fit,
yeah,
like on multiple levels. He doesn't just fit on the field, a spot that they need. This guy fits in 12 personnel. This guy fits as a blocker. He sells out. This guy can also be developed. You know, Texas for the last 2 years has been getting what we could call one and dones at receiver from the transfer portal, and that's fine. Hey, you both get what you need out of the relationship, and then they take off and they have success in the league. They also want to develop those guys. That's what they're doing with Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore and Parker Livingstone and the three amigo freshmen that came in. But they'll take another receiver if it's the right receiver. They'll stand pat if it's not the right guy. That's why I trust this guy. That's why I trust this take, because they're so judicious when it comes to the portal. They may talk to 20 or 30 guys. They're only going to bring in one or two. And so if the right receiver pops up in that window here, what would be Wednesday, they'll go full on. They'll go into it. But if it's not the right guy, they'll stand pat and they'll be happy. Mosley's a guy that's going to catch everything you throw at him. He's going to move the chains on third down. He'll be a perfect complement for Wingo on the outside with DeAndre in the middle. I mean, and on the inside. Texas. They didn't pull the trigger too quick, Victor. They got who they wanted. They wanted a guy that could come in with some experience, but then you could also develop him as well. Emmett Mosley offers that.
30 minutes of good recruiting talk. Thank you for joining. And of course, we've got a lot more details over on Inside Texas. So make sure you take advantage. $1 for just 4 months. All the inside intel. We've got another recruiting visitor list. So all the guys who are going to be making their way to Texas throughout the spring, make sure you come check that out. And of course, Friday, April 25th for the Texas A&M series, we will get the location set very, very soon, but we will be having a tailgate presented by Academy where all this stuff, the tent, the Blackstone griddle, the the 2 chairs, the 2 ramblers, the Yeti cooler on wheels, all this could be yours. No purchase necessary. You must be present to win as you get ready to go and watch the Longhorns battle the Texas A&M Aggies at the Dish. So, Justin, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.